from the center of the universe and the Thrive15.com world headquarters.
Let's go!
Presenting the world's only business school without the BS, with optometrist and entrepreneur Dr. Robert Zellner and the former Small Business Administration Entrepreneur of the Year in your ear, Clay Clark. It's the Thrivetime Show. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. Guess who's back inside your room? He is I and I is him. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, and I am honored. I'm beyond honored. I'm humbled. I'm all of the things people say when they receive an award. I am excited to be here with you today because I know that when you learn from the truth canon that is Dr. Zellner, your life cannot help but to be improved. And I'm being serious because what's happened is Dr. Z has been in business so long, he has sort of an intuitive knowledge. And I mean this, though. If you watch a skilled musician, they get to a point where they can improvise. They get to a point where they no longer have to look at the lyrics, right? But when you first start playing the piano, you're worried about what key do you hit, what chord do you hit, what words do you say. But once you see a skilled a professional musician in their element, and once they've developed mastery, they can improvise. And that is what he's able to do in the world of business. He goes from industry to industry, and he doesn't hop like week by week, minute by minute, no get rich quick, but he's been able to go from optometry to auto auctions to durable medical equipment companies to a diagnostic sleep laboratory to an online education platform to banking to et cetera. And he just continues to win. And Dr. Zellner has been described to me by Sean Copeland, who is the founder of Regent Bank, as a man who has the golden touch. And so you have to ask yourself today, is he lucky or does he just know the moves? So Dr. Z, I want to ask you, are you lucky or do you just know the moves?
Wow, after an introduction like that, that's awesome. But I tell you what, the harder you work, I have found the luckier you get. The more you stay to the proven path, and that's what we're about today. And all the shows that we do here on the Thrive Time Show, give you practical business information for those of you out there. Forbes comes back that, about 2 out of 3 of you want to start or grow your own business, and we are here to help you do that. That's our heart. That's what we want. We don't want an 80% fail rate as published by Forbes. We don't want people, their lifelong dreams and savings, and now they're in debt because they borrowed money to start this business and it failed. We don't want that.
We don't want it.
We don't want that. So you say, why are you on the show 2 hours a day? Why did you build this platform? Why are you doing in-person workshops? Why are you now building a team of business coaches that can do one-on-one business coaching? Because we want you to succeed. Really, that's our heart. I mean, Clay won right of me. He was the SBA Entrepreneur of the Year back in 2007, 10 years ago?
2007, yeah.
Yeah, 2007 as a kid. I have a saying, Clay, and it goes something like this. It goes, people change seldom. But I will tell publicly right now that you are probably the young man that I have seen change the most in your life. I remember when you kind of skulked into my office back when your wife was working for me, and you were like the definition of punk.
I would pull up in my Mazda MPV with my subwoofer, and I'd have a song like this cranked up, and you're out there trying to see patience, and I'd have that subwoofer cranked up, so that way everyone had to hear the music that I wanted to hear.
The building shook.
Yeah, and so you'd be trying to conduct business as usual. I'm waiting for my wife in the parking lot, but I don't have the common courtesy to turn it down. No, I turn it up, and it's just...
Oh, yeah, so annoying. Just so annoying.
When you're trying to see patients and...
Right. If you come in here, you have on these baggy clothes, loop earrings, you kind of skulked around, you look like you're ready for you just want to pick a fight with anybody that wanted to walk up to you. And then fast forward years from that, you got mentorship.
Yep.
You got mentorship. And through that mentorship, you cleaned up your appearance, you started wearing suits. You became just a study of business. I mean, you just devoured everything that was business.
16 years of suits, my man.
You seeked out mentors, and you harassed them till they would meet with you. I know I was one of them. And you just were very purposeful in wanting to change and then changing. And so if you're listening out there and you say to yourself, man, I know a guy who could really use this, but he'll never change. That's not the case. I know people change seldom, but Clay, I will admit, and you are, when you pitched me with this idea of doing Thrive15.com, this scaling business coaching, I thought, you know what? This will work because there's not a better business coach in the world than Clay Clark. He has helped so many people succeed. And we always laugh about, we're always like talking about why some do and why some don't. It's because the ones that succeed follow the playbook we give them. They walk down the path we give them. We give them step-by-step things to do.
We have made a book. It's a 13. We have a 13-point business system. We give you the playbook at our workshops.
It's not rocket science, unless, of course, the business you're wanting to build is
rocket science. And I tell people this because people ask all the time, okay, well, what businesses have you worked with? So I tell people, it's well documented on Google. I've worked with Maytag University, worked with UPS, the brown guys, right? I've worked with, Hewlett Packard, O'Reilly Auto Parts, a lot of these big companies. But I'm more proud of the small businesses because Launch Academy here in Tulsa, he was a school teacher. And you tell me if you can follow the math here. He has a membership model where your first month of tutoring is free. But then after that, it's month to month, and I think it's $499 a month. And a lot of kids can't get into college. They can't pass tests because they don't have that one-on-one mentorship because there's like 25 kids in the class. So as a school teacher, it was hard for him to watch that. So he reached out to me. He was a former employee of ours, and he said, hey, back when I owned the DJ company called DJ Connection, he says, hey, I have this vision, I have this dream, could you help me? So we helped him build a viable business model, helped him do his marketing, taught him his search engine, optimization, his online ads, his Facebook marketing, his retargeting ads, his mobile compliance, his accounting, and he just passed 52 members today, 52 members who are on average paying $500 a month, and it's he and 3. So he and 4 guys, and you're talking about 52 people who are paying $500 a month. That's $26,000 of gross revenue divided by these 4 people. So I don't know what he's paying himself. I don't know the details. I'm not going to divulge all the secrets on the air. But the point is, he's now achieved the financial dream, and he did all of this in a little over a 7-month period.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe. You're listening to the Thrivetime Show.
So now he's a teacher who's actually getting paid like an entrepreneur, but he can teach kids the way he wanted to be taught, the way he wanted to teach. Z, that's the kind of stuff that's what fires us up.
That's what fires us up, and that's what just makes our heart go, yay!
Yes.
I tell you what, whenever one of our last shows, if you can always go back. We always put them on podcast form on Thrivetime shows. So if you catch part of a show, you don't catch all of it, or you think, I was driving, I want to take notes. You can always go to Thrivetime show. We put them all up there podcast. You can spend all weekend binge listening to them. You could.
You could.
You could. We wouldn't stop you. Or you could share with friends. It's free, so why not? Get on there and listen to them. But you were talking the other day about how entrepreneurs are curious.
Absolutely.
They're curious, and that curiosity is what kind of drives them, the questions that they ask and the questions that they do. So here you have a school teacher going, I don't like that. I see a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come up with a solution to a problem, and that's what entrepreneurship is about. And then you go, how do I do that? What does that look like? Who do I find to help me? What do I do? Do I go to 4 years of business school to try to get a plan to fix this? No. You come to us, Thrive15.com, in-person workshops. Oh, our next one's coming up here pretty soon, by the way. And one-on-one business coaching, and then, of course, this podcast on Thrivetime Show.
What's fun about our workshop is it's interactive, it's engaging. You can ask any questions you want. We don't rush through things. It's very in-depth. It's 15 hours of power, and the topic is you, helping you grow your business. We leave no stone unturned, and so today we're talking about something that so many of you Thrivers have asked us about, and it's how do you guys focus? How do you Dr. Z, with hundreds of employees, how do you focus? And so I'm just going to be very, very transparent with the Thrivers out there. Elephant in the room, we just passed 3,400 members. There's 3,400 members, but we have 6,500 some odd customers, and it's growing and growing and growing. And we mess up about 1% of the time. I wish we didn't ever mess up.
Yeah.
And we really, really work hard. So if someone on our team messes up, they have to go back into training. We have a mystery shopper that works every single day.
Mystery shopper.
We're paying a customer to spy on our team, and they're trying to catch us doing things well and things we could do better. But yet, when you have that many customers, you could become reactive. And Z, at your optometry clinic, you see hundreds and hundreds of patients a week, maybe 1,000 patients a week. It's a lot of patients.
It's a lot of patients, and you're right. You're always going to drop the ball. And business is measured by not on the 99 point whatever percent or 99%, we'll call it, that things go well, right? It's the 1% that doesn't go well that you have to fix, or you have to work through the problem, because as long as you have these things called humans working for you, they're a thing.
I can't do a non-human business?
You can just because you're part robotic, Claytron, it does not mean. But my favorite part is when you go mystery shop and you come into the Thrive headquarters. You've got this really ganked hair, and I'm like, look at you going, dude, what's up? You oughta, you oughta high-end men's
check
grooming
it out.
lounge.
It happened again. This happened at Floyd's in Denver. The lady, she's cutting my hair. I'm mystery shopping her, and she just took a chunk out of my mop. And she says,
gosh.
oh, like that. Oh, she says, oh, and I'm going. Whenever the person cutting your hair says, you kind of, what do you mean? Oh, and she, I'll need to kind of bevel that, and you realize I don't have a whole lot of mop left to chop, lady. I mean, we're getting down to the.
Dude, you got a bunch. Now me, on the other hand, I treasure every last one I have up there.
No, here's the deal, Thrive Nation. We're talking today about, again, focusing. And I want everyone to grab a sheet of paper, grab maybe an Etch-a-Sketch, grab a notepad, because we're going to get deep into it today about how you focus. In a world where you're constantly distracted, where there's so many pressures upon you, how do you do it? So I'm going to read you a notable quotable, Z, from Steve Jobs, and I would love for you to unpack it. So the F of focus, okay? Focus stands for focus on core tasks until success. Someone should write that down. Focus on core tasks until success. So F. People think focus means saying yes to the thing you've got to focus on. This is Steve Jobs. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are. You have to pick carefully. I'm actually as proud of the things we haven't done as the things I have done. Innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. Z, what is Steve Jobs talking about?
But I tell you what, a lot of people ask me, I'm so glad that they started that show Shark Tank.
Yeah.
You've seen it, you know.
Yeah.
And Mark Cuban's on there and the other guys, a couple gals on there. And then people come on the show and they pitch them their idea. And some they say yes to and some they say no to. And when that show started, I was like, that's a lot of my day right there. I carve out some time and people come in and pitch me. They know I'm an entrepreneur. They want me to be an investor or a partner, or they want me to write them a big check. They come in and like, hey, bro, I got this great idea for a coffee shop, bro. It's going to be awesome, bro. Just need $250K, man. No big deal.
No big deal, man. I'll revolutionize the whole game and just $250,000.
Bro, coffee's, Starbucks $1 billion company, bro.
I'm going to make Meta coffee. It'll be above all other coffee.
Yeah, so they come in, they Shark Tank me, and 98% of the time I say no. No.
Why do you say no? It just seems like such a mean thing to say. Just so mean, so explosive.
I had a guy today, and you could do the different moves. I mean, there's several moves you do when this happens, right? There's the one move where you say, I need more information. Where's your business plan? You give them hoops to jump through, and 99% of the time they're not going to come back. So that's one move.
That's one move.
The other move is, let me think about it, right? That's basically saying, I'm just kind of I'm going to tell you no right now, right? And then the third move is just look them in the face and say, I have no interest and I do not want to do that at all. And that's being a powerful person. You're sitting there, when they pitch you the deal, and then you for whatever reason, you let them have access to you. And then you have to try to figure out how to keep trying to be nice about saying no. But you know what? You just being firm. And you have to yell at them, get up and swing a bat at them. No, get out of my office. No, you're just firm with them. You look them in the eye and you say, you know what? I have no interest in doing that.
So, Thrivers, I want you to get out a sheet of paper right now, and I want you to write down your F6 goals. Your goals for your faith. Your goals for your family. Your goals for your finances. Your goals for your fitness. Your goals for your friends. And your goals for your fun. When we come back, we're going to help you get there. Stay tuned. ThriveTimeShow.com.
I'm Ken P. Lott, and I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Professional painting by Ken. Quite a bit of stuff. A lot of stuff I know that I needed to do but didn't know how to do it. Web page, how to hire people, sales, making a schedule, making programs. Just a lot of stuff. It's overwhelming, but it's good stuff that you can actually put to practice right away. It's a lot different than I expected. Been to different workshops, and you're just waiting for the sales punch, and they give you ideas and stuff, but it's always 10 years down the road when you can actually apply the stuff that they're trying to promote. And this is not like that at all. It's very ground level, help you start a business and maintain and grow a bigger business. I like it a lot because He makes you feel comfortable, makes you laugh, so it opens you up to receive and hear better. This is great. It's a lot of interaction. You can ask him questions. You can help. If you don't understand something, he can explain it more. So it's very, very helpful. They're missing a lot because a lot of businesses probably do some of the steps that he's teaching, but there's so much they can learn into easy steps that they'll grow their business even better. It's not like any other workshop I've ever been to. It's very laid back and a lot of information, and it's a comfortable setting. It's awesome. It's a really good experience.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into the conversation, the audio dojo of Mojo, where we put on a show for yo. The reason why we do it is because we want to help you grow a successful business. And I'm going to tell you what, I had a very unfortunate encounter recently with somebody that ended well. I guess it was a good encounter. I'm putting a positive spin on it, but it started off bad. There was a Thriver who attended one of our in-person workshops, and he was attending the University of, I don't want to be specific, I don't want to rip a certain school in Tulsa, but we'll just say it has 3 initials and it's a junior college in town. He was about 15 grand in, and at no point did they ever really discuss business. Here he's going to business school.
Wow.
But at no point were they talking about, they're talking about humanities and social science and psychology. And he pointed out, he says, hey, I've learned more with you guys being on the show and just coming to your workshop in 15 hours than I've learned in the entire year and a half I've been in college. And I said, well, what are they teaching you at college? And he says, well, basically, they're just not getting into the specifics of how to start or grow a successful company. And so his mind exploded, and now this company is called the Urban Lunchbox. That's the lunch that I'm actually ordering now.
Oh, you've been telling me about that. Yeah, so how does that work? What's up with that?
Well, if you're a busy person and you want to eat healthy, it's so hard to make good choices with the food. And so now for, I think it's at Marshall's like $11 a meal or something like that, you can have the food delivered directly to your office, and now you can say, hey, I want to get a nutritious meal, and it's just going to show up. And it's amazing how that works, but it's a deal of like he had the idea. A year and a half into going to college, they never talked about how to do it. He came to a workshop. 2 weeks later, it's a viable company, and now he has real customers. I'm not sure how many people he has subscribing it, maybe 25, 30 people, and he's growing it. He's getting feedback, and I'm telling you what, he's in it, but that's the kind of stuff that you don't learn at business college.
That's just awesome. That's why we're doing what it is we're doing. That's why that in-person workshop is probably the best $500 you'd ever spend in your life. I mean, you come out, it's 2 days of power. We go over all kinds of things. You can go on thrivetimeshow.com and you can click on the little button that says in-person workshop, and then you can have all your questions answered. What do they teach? What's it like? When does it start? What are the dates? Where can I stay? I mean, just all these things. If you have more, you can call us or email us, and we will make sure and get you on board. And the other thing is, the best part of that, and this really shows our heart, is that we have scholarship money available. If you're out there saying, I'm tight right now. I just had a medical emergency. I just wrecked my car.
Just got a huge DirecTV bill.
I just got my phone bill. I was down in Cabo and I was texting. I
downloaded all the Bruno Mars songs on iTunes. Just very tragic time.
And you need some help with it. We've actually had some local businessmen contribute to that fund, and so we have some money set aside to offer scholarships for those that need it, because we want you to change your life. We want you to have financial freedom and time freedom. And that's what you get with a successful business.
So Thrivers, if we're talking about the magic of focus, the F stands for focus, okay? You want to make sure that you focus, you know your F6 goals, your goals for your faith, your goals for your family, your goals for your finances, your fitness, your friendships, right, and fun. You have to know those goals. Now, what happens is we live in a world right now where we're perpetually distracted, okay? I'm going to read you a notable quotable from Psychology Today, Z, and I want to get your take on it. And Arthur Greeno of Chick-fil-A fame has just joined us inside the box that rocks.
I hope he
Arthur, how are you, sir?
I'm late.
Well, no, you're not late. You're good, baby. You're feeling the flow. We're excited to have you, man. And you having a good day overall so far?
I am. I'm great. I'm great to be here.
You look beautiful. I'm going to read this notable quotable, Z, and I want to have you unpack it for me. So here we go.
All right, buddy. Lay it on me.
Here we go. Imagine that after a medical exam to your doctor,
Okay.
Your doctor delivers some devastating news. Since your last checkup, your cognitive performance has plummeted. Your ability to connect with others has eroded, and your memory for everyday events is no longer operating as it once did. As it turns out, there is a cure, and it won't cost you a penny.
Wow.
The treatment is simple. All that's required is that you put away your smartphone. Few of us will have this conversation with our doctors, but perhaps we should. Over the last few years, scientists have begun studying the way cell phones affect the human experience, and the early results are alarming. In one lab experiment, researchers paid volunteers who had never met and had them take turns discussing an interesting personal event that occurred in the past month. Half the conversations took place with the experimenter's cell phone sitting on the table, and the other half, a spiral notebook, was set out on the table instead. Afterwards, participants in each pair evaluated their experience, and the results were striking. Subjects who spoke while a cell phone was in view perceived that their partner was less understanding and less trustworthy. They were also more skeptical that future dialogue with their partner would yield a close friendship.
Broadcasting live from the center of the universe, you're listening to The Thrivetime Show.
And it goes on to explain that basically people that use a cell phone, adults who are trying to be in a meeting with a cell phone on, or they're trying to prep for a speaking event with a cell phone on, or just to do any kind of thinking with a cell phone on, their cognitive reasoning skills are that of a third grader.
Wow.
Third grader.
Wow.
Sounds right.
So I want to ask you, Arthur, have you ever been in a meeting where a member of your team is not paying attention but is pretending to pay attention while updating their Facebook or something at Chick-fil-A, and it makes your brain explode?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I've done it.
So how do you stay focused, my man?
Well, anytime I'm in a meeting, for one, I turn my phone off. I just put it off the side, upside down. So it does frustrate my wife a little bit because she's wondering, why am I not answering the phone? But she understands I'm in a meeting.
Yeah, see, this is a problem. I know my wife is perpetually hitting on me via my cell phone. You know, she'll just text me little love text messages and stuff. No, actually, I'm doing that. You know, whenever I'm have my phone on. But no, seriously, with a cell phone, how have you been able to? What kind of digital boundaries have you set up for yourself? Because with all your businesses, you're going to get probably one complaint a day, right? And then how do you let that not, I mean, when would you turn your phone off at night when you're reading or hanging out with family or when you're spending time with your son or your daughter? I mean, what are your digital boundaries that you're setting up so you can focus?
Yeah, I have several of them. Depends on the situation. I have, sometimes there's emergency and sometimes I'm expecting calls. Even sometimes when I'm in a meeting, I have my phone on because I'm expecting something urgent, and a lot of the people I deal with, I mean, they have a little window, and if we don't catch each other on little windows, then we could go many days of trying to find the window. So I do that, and then I always try to take calls from I can count on one hand the number of people that even if I'm in a meeting, I'll excuse myself, step out, and say, hey, is this an emergency? I'm in a meeting. They'll be like, no, and I'll go, okay, I'll text, I'll call you back. Those kind of things. So you set those boundaries. It's okay to have a few people that can have access to you 24/7. Now, when I go to sleep, I turn off my phone. Whenever I'm at my house late at night, I have my phone off. But the other thing too that's important is that just because someone calls you doesn't mean you have to answer. Number one. Number two, just because they text you doesn't mean you have to text them back.
Come on, keep preaching.
Golly.
Number three, when they email you, it doesn't mean you have to email them back.
Let it happen.
Come on.
Unbelievable.
The relief just flowed off my shoulders.
Here's the deal. At Elephant in the Room, we had a funny person complain the other day on Facebook. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Your first haircut, Thrivers, for anyone listening, it's $1. It's $1. That's the offer, right? It's $1. Shockingly, though, we have a membership plan, and it's not $1. The membership, it's not $1 a month for every haircut.
What? Is this a bait and switch scam out?
So it's like $37, for the average membership, $35. And this guy says on Facebook, watch out. You go in for the first haircut, it's $1. But then every haircut thereafter, it's over $30.
What would they expect?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just like, I don't let that take up my time. I saw it on Monday. I didn't see it over the weekend. And I just wrote, a little response, deleted it, whatever. It's all good. So Thrivers, stay tuned. We're teaching about how to focus on achieving your F6 goals on thrivetimeshow.com. Stay tuned.
My name is Nikki Warren, and I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. The name of my business is The Mocha Butterfly. and I'm a fashion designer. I heard about the Thrivetime business workshops through a dear friend of mine, and I got a chance to meet with Clay and Dr. Z, and as I talked to them a little bit more, I loved what they were doing, and it just made me, more intrigued because I really wanted to grow my business. Well, what I've learned is that for my business in particular, marketing is needing to be, I need to step it up a lot more, and just focusing in on some key things to get that really going is going to really get me where I want to go with my goals. I think it's fun. It's a fun atmosphere, which most business-oriented, I'm an artistic, artsy person, and I tend to lose interest very quickly if I don't have something to keep me engaged. And, the humor, the real life experience, and the casualness of it is just really engaging for me. And it's just very relatable. And so for me, I am having a ball. Like, I was so excited to come yesterday. I had butterflies, literally, butterflies in my stomach, and I'm just really excited to be here. Well, it's an interesting place. It's got a lot of words of affirmation and quotes and things like that. Very positive environment. The people here are very nice and friendly, and I love the way the room is set up. It's very open space type of model, and like I said, it's more of a casual environment. It's not stuffy and professional. It's professional, but it's not stuffy professional. There is a difference. And so it's very warm and inviting here. Love the teaching style, love the presentation, very organized and easy to follow. And like I said, the real life experience and the humor just adds that much more to it. I know people who go to different workshops, and I'm not sure if they're grasping all of what's being presented there, but I am almost 100% sure that if they come to a workshop like this one, they will get some great golden information that's going to help them meet their goals if they're willing to apply what they hear. There's no upselling here, which that wasn't really a big concern for me, but if I were talking to someone who's very concerned about upselling, I would tell them that they have no worries here, and that, I think that this environment is very relaxed, inviting, warm, and engaging, and so even it does actually makes you wonder, what else is there? I won't lie about that. So it's kind of more of an independent intrigue rather than someone pushing you into the intrigue of what else is offered. I recommend coming to this workshop because it is an intimate setting, great people. I've met some really cool people doing some cool businesses, and the teaching style and the presentation is awesome.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into the conversation inside the box that rocks today. It's getting a little crazy in here. We have four incredible. Well, I think we have three incredible humans. I'm sort of a subpar human, but we have three incredible humans. What
about Sam?
We have four.
What am I, chopped liver?
No. I was talking about the people who are the guests on the show. Sam, you're obviously the super producer sent here on. You came down from Mount Awesome to produce this show. We have three incredible. I'm working out of this hole, but here we have Dr. Z on the show here. Dr. Z, he's obviously the guy who runs Dr. Zellner and Associates, the Z66 Auto Auction, A to Z Medical, things that start with the Z. He's invested in Regent Bank. He's sort of a big deal. He's the reason why they have the great suckers at Regent Bank. He says, listen, guys, we can't have a great world-class bank we can't grow at 8 times the national average without having great suckers. You have to thank him for that. Then we have Arthur Greeno, the Chick-fil-A mastermind. Arthur, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
And we have Justin Moore, the founder of the Elephant in the Room men's grooming lounge phenomenon that is changing the game for the way the men of Tulsa experience hair. Justin, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Man, I'm excited today. We're talking about focus. Okay, we're talking about focus, which is we're in a very distracted world. And what you have to do first is you have to go ahead and write down your F6 goals. That's faith, family, finance, fitness, friendships, and fun. You have to do that. And once you do that, then Z, you begin to say no all the time. You say, no, that doesn't align with my goal. That's not on course. And the next part, remember, F stands for focus. On is the next portion. On, you want to stay on task. And so I'm going to read you a notable quotable, Z, and I want to get your feedback. Here we go. This is from Gino Wickman. the best-selling author of a book called Traction. He says, most people are sitting on their own diamond mines. The surest way to lose your diamond mine is to get bored, become overambitious, or to think that the grass is greener on the other side. Find your core focus, stick to it, and devote your time and resources to excelling at it. Z, talk to me.
Yeah, I tell you what, you pick an area that you're good in. You pick an area that you put your focus on, and you stay on task. You first things first. I love the fact that you have the list you have. I used to carry a list like that with me all the time. And it was my to-do list, and that's how I stayed on. That's how I stayed on because I would look down at that list and I'd go, oh, and I loved it when you could draw a line through a thing. You're focused on it, and then you draw that line.
Who
through
needs
it,
Viagra when you can draw a line through the thing? I mean, that's just an unbelievable. Yes.
And then the next time you write out your thing, and that thing's not on there anymore. You're just like, oh, then you add something other thing on the bottom.
I make inappropriate noises when I cross through an
oh
item
my
when it's
gosh,
done.
it's so fun.
Oh.
It's so fun. And so
Wow.
first things first, next things next. A boss takes a big
Obstacle. It makes it seem so small.
Right. Big obstacles seem small. So that's how you do it. You take it step by step, but you stay on the core, what you need. And that is, well, you write it down. You know what it is, and then that helps you stay on because your focus is staying on it. It's also important what you focus on. I'll wrap back around to that here in a little bit.
He's wrapping back around.
We got a lot of stuff to cover in today's show, so I don't want to get off on too many rabbit trails, but go ahead, Clay.
Well, real quick, and speaking of staying on focus, one thing I want to share with you guys that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. This is an example of being distracted.
Oh, yeah.
I'm frustrated that The Weeknd can't sing. Have you heard? He can't dance. I mean, have you heard this guy sing? He sounds like Michael Jackson, but he can't dance at all.
It's amazing how many great singers have absolutely no rhythmic body movement that makes any sense to the music that's being played.
If he could just take your body, because you're a great dancer, you have the rhythm inside. You're a great dancer. If he could just take your dance moves and bring that into his voice,
I guess guys like him look at me and go, "Well, that dude obviously feels the beat. What's going on? I can't sing, So it's kind of like you see me going, well, and I'm looking at him going, yeah, let's team together. Let's team together. We can go back to Milli Vanilli. I get to lip sync it and do all the moves.
All right, we're getting back focused.
Oh, sorry.
That's an example of distraction. We could have spent a whole show on that, but we don't because it's a business show. So I want to ask you this, Arthur. What is something you're focused on right now? Tell me, what are you focused on?
Well, right now I'm working with a bunch of guys on an organization called the Tulsa Pop Kids.
Tulsa Pop Kids.
And basically what they're doing is they're putting on Comic-Cons to raise money for their organization.
Comic-Cons?
Yeah.
And educate me. Suppose I don't know anything about a Comic-Con. What does that mean?
Well, a Comic-Con is basically like where all the nerds go to hang out. And
I want to go.
Oh, it's absolutely awesome. I mean, people come and dress up and in their superhero outfits or their Star Wars outfits or whatever you need, whatever they're passionate about.
You know what? I tell you what here. So if somebody's listening right now and they love Marvel Comics, they love all of the movies, the Superman movie, the Spider-Man movie, where can they learn more about getting involved in your incredible organization?
Well, the organization is called Tulsa Pop Culture Expo. They can find it on Facebook.
Okay, they can find it on Facebook. They have to look at the Tulsa what?
Tulsa Pop Culture Expo.
Okay, now, Justin, what are you focused on? Because obviously what's happening is the Elephant in the Room has thousands of members, literally thousands of members, and there's thousands of customers. If all of the customers showed up at one time, they could basically almost at this point fill up like the BOK. I mean, it's a very big thing now. So talk to me. What are you focused on right now? There's a lot of things you could be focused on, but what are you focused on?
I focus on staying out of the way at this point. No, but seriously, it's fun. It's exciting. Year after year, our fifth year now, it changes, and so I'm focused on growth. So that's from finding the next development site, negotiating the deals, seeing if it's a win-win. And so we've actually got 2 more properties that we're looking at here in Tulsa. And so my day-to-day operations in the shop has gone out of, and now it's from maintaining has gone to growth. It's a lot of fun. It's exciting. And that's what I'm focused on right now.
So, Thrivers, I'm going to give you a list of things you should write down right now that you should be focusing on if you are an entrepreneur.
Real quick, Clay. Quick question, Justin. What's the footprint you look for your Elephant in the Rooms?
I can't tell you that.
Well, you got some properties, E?
No. How many square feet do you need to do a store?
Yeah. So this is a good question. So we could range from 1,200 all the way up to our biggest shop has 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious because I had some real estate buildings that I was okay. Never mind.
1,200 is 1,200.
Continue on.
No,
Focus.
but 1,200 is ideal because I'll tell you this. The men of Tulsa, we've found they're just overwhelming the South Tulsa shop. We're turning down people. They got the downtown. It's over. And so we've discovered that people want to drive, about 5 minutes for their haircut, maybe 10 minutes?
5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and so Justin is discovering that you could put less of them in Tulsa than you could like a Starbucks, but you can put a lot of them in there. I mean, it's amazing how many people want to get a high-end men's grooming lounge experience. And by the way, if you're listening, your first haircut's always $1. Just come in, check it out, and guess what? Here's how the scam works. Your next haircut's not $1. Right? I mean, just get over it, Mr. Facebook.
But your first one's $1, right?
It's unbelievable.
For years, I thought it was their first hair that got cut was $1, and then they charge you on top of that.
Oh, see, we manipulated Arthur there. Now, here's
sneaky.
what every Thriver should be focused on right now. If you're an entrepreneur, one is in Thrivers, you need to write this down. One is your key performance indicators. You need to know your numbers. Okay. 2, your line item list of things you need to do. 3, people that are paying you. If someone is paying you, you've got to be responsive. And we come back because he's going to break these down for us because this will just irritate the heck out of somebody. If they're paying you and you're not responding, people that could be paying you, customers you're trying to chase down, and commitments you've made. If you're a dad, get in the game. Be responsive. Talk to your kids. Do that thing. If you're a husband, be responsive. Get in the game. If you are anything you've signed up for, if you've committed to do something, show up. Do what you're supposed to do. Because if you're not careful, what you'll do is you'll just kind of become this person who signs up for a bunch of things but doesn't deliver. So when we come back, we're going to talk about how to maintain focus in this perpetually distracted world. And Dr. Z is going to help break it down like fractions. So stay tuned. ThriveTimeShow.com.
My name is O'Neal Bent, and I'm from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I first heard about the business workshops through my wife, Sharita Bent, and I learned a lot more from her, and also got follow-up calls from different members of the organization. Some of the things I've learned about starting my business through Thrive is making sure I'm spending my money on the things I need to spend it on. For instance, like my search engine optimization, my marketing, constantly reviewing the content that I have on my website, and that's just a few of the things. The overall experience I've had from the Thrivetime workshop has been wonderful. I love how everything that we learn is practical. It's not based off of book knowledge. It's not based off of someone else's ideas. It's based off things that have actually worked and have been tried and true. When you walk in, we came into a smell of wood burning. There's a chimney outside, so we walked to the building. And when you get inside, you almost feel like there's like I don't know if it's like a pub / club / work environment. It just feels really good. You have music blaring, friendly faces, people saying hello. And then when you sit down in your seat, you have nice, comfortable chairs, a wooden desk to work on, and everything looks modern. So it's a really refreshing feeling. Clay's presentation and teaching style is very efficient, effective. It's also endearing, though, because he's very comical. He'll talk about different things he's been through, and they're all very funny. But he also hits the exact points he needs to hit at the right time. You never feel like, man, is he ever going to stop talking? You always want to keep listening, and then when it's the bathroom break time, you're surprised it's already there. So I like how he talks about these practical experiences, and it's very enjoyable. The interaction of the workshop is mostly Clay will give you information that you need to know, but then he also opens it up for questions. So there's always this question and response type of situation. And then there's certain things where he'll direct you to do things, and it's because he knows that that's the way to go. You might question it, but I highly encourage you just to listen and do. And to jump into a business and think that you know everything is the most prideful, arrogant thing you could ever do. But to come here and to speak to someone who's already done this many times, has directed several businesses, and can give you wisdom and information, I think it's wonderful. And I think you can never do anything on your own. You have to have other people around you to help you, and he's definitely helpful. The experience I've had at coming to the Thrivetime workshops is I was never upsold anything. I mean, I come in, they do exactly what they say they're going to do, and they leave it up to you to follow up and do the work. And I think that's the way it should be. So it's very straightforward, and they do what they say. I recommend that everybody should check out Thrivetime Workshop because there's so much knowledge and information there that you can use to help you run your business. And like I said before, I don't think you can do anything completely on your own. And when you have so much resource and knowledge in one area, you can use all of that and get exactly what you need.
For any of you listening from Oklahoma Joe's, I'm telling you, I know it's hard. I hate to distract you while you're enjoying the world's best baked beans. I mean, I know that it could be, I mean, you're almost having a spiritual event. Z, we want to apologize for anybody who's at Oklahoma Joe's right now who we've interrupted. I mean, because I understand when you're trying to just enjoy your beans, what it could be like to try to listen to the world's best business radio show while having the world's best baked beans. It causes just the dissonance is too much.
The synergism could be more than one could handle. I don't know. But I know this: if you add burnt ends on it, I mean, hold tight to some railing because you're going to go for a ride. Those burnt ends they're meat candy. They're meat candy.
That's what caused the whole Brexit movement. Is people were trying to listen to Oklahoma Joe's, the world's best business radio show comes on. People are arguing. Next thing you know, Brexit is happening. I mean, they're changing the way they break away from the European Union. They're going, we just need to separate. We need to get to a place where we're not going to be distracted. So I apologize for interrupting you. But for anybody who's not at Oklahoma Joe's, during the break, you should definitely go check it out. It is a great place. And Z, rumor has it there's 3 locations to serve Tulsa. Am I correct?
Absolutely. There's one in Broken Arrow by the Bass Pro Shop. Can't miss it. There's one at 61st and Sheridan, their newest one here in Tulsa. And then one that is just for lunch, and it's down by the Iconic. It's next to the iconic Canes Ballroom. And, the Canes is pretty cool. Right across the street from that, they're going to build that new pop. You know, when Arthur was talking about his Comic-Con and the name of that, they're actually building that new pop cultural center right across the street from the Canes Ballroom. Did you know that, Arthur?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty could They've got that museum of, because Tulsa has people don't know it necessarily. I know around the world they're listening on what? But Tulsa has a very rich history in music and in pop culture. I can't even say it today. Blah, 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 blah.
You know, I wouldn't even worry about word. Z, don't let the inability to speak bother you today. But here's the deal. What I'm going to do is we kind of gather ourselves emotionally and mentally to celebrate the opening of this pop culture museum. Yes. I'm going to play Mbop, which is probably the deepest lyrical miracle that's ever been composed in the history of Oklahoma music. Would you agree this is a deep song?
I saw these kids when they were playing. I mean, they were just youngsters at the Blue Rose Cafe. They're over on Peoria. They were sitting outside. They had an outside deck, and they were right up the edge to it. And we'd go every Monday night, me and my buddies, and we'd go there and we'd kind of meet for a beverage. And we'd sit out there, and they'd always have a little band or something. And these kids were, I say kids, but they were young at the time. And they were up there playing. I think it was some of their early gigs, I don't know.
I actually DJ'd at a high school event where one of the Hansons was at the high school event, and I was a young DJ, and I thought it'd be kind of funny to play Mbop like 17 times or something. I don't know. And I'm like dedicating songs to him, and he was totally over that song at that point.
Oh yeah.
And so I probably ruined his prom. I'm sorry, Mr. Hanson. I'm sorry, but
those guys are on our target list. We would love for them to show up at our event. I think it would be perfect for
pop people
culture.
who don't know what event you're talking about. What event are you talking about?
The Tulsa Pop Culture Expo.
Where is it? Where can I get involved? How can I learn more?
You can find out about it on Facebook, and it's going to be October 14th and 15th, and all the funds are going to a nonprofit that we support called Pop Tulsa Kids.
Where's it physically going to be?
At 41st at the Wyndham Hotel.
What are you going to do at this thing?
Well, there's going to be all kinds of Comic-Con type stuff, but it's really geared towards pop culture. So, we'd love for Hanson to come out and come meet with their fans and sign some autographs. And this would be the time for those people like yourself to come throw yourself at their feet and tell them how much you love them.
Well, I tell you what, if you're listening right now and you happen to be a member of the Hanson Group, just a subliminal message, you will go to Arthur's event. You will. All right, now what we're talking today about is about focusing, okay? Focusing. We're in a world where we're perpetually distracted. There's so many things pulling at us. And so the F stands for focus. The O stands for on. Stay on that task. Z, talk to me about key performance indicators in your optometry clinic. Why do you have to watch those numbers?
That's the most important number you have, key performance indicators. And I'm the one that gets to decide what. I mean, it's kind of like no one comes in and says, well, this should be, your key performance indicator should be this. I mean, I know what my key performance indicators are because I set those. You know, how many, I have them report, how many patients we see in a given day. I have them report the times that they're coming in. We track that from year to year. I mean, gross sales every day, net sales. I break it down to that. I mean, I have my key performance indicators. How many patients were seen by which doctor? Because some days now we're working up to 3 doctors on a given day, and whether they were exams or just follow-ups, or I mean, so many of them. But you pile them all together, and that's there's not so many that's overwhelming, but you have those that are the way you build your business and you correct your business, and you see something sliding early, and then you go, no, stop that, and then you challenge because you want to beat last year's numbers and last month's numbers, and then that's the way you can encourage your staff. You can reward them financially. You can reward them by just sometimes maybe a little good appropriate HR side hug. I mean,
how do you know when it's time to get Darth Vader and to get in there and to get crazy? Because you've built systems where you have financial freedom and time freedom, but how do you know when it's time for you to make your imperial attack, to get in there like Darth Vader and...
Well, I always default to good cop, but sometimes good cop just doesn't get her done. Sometimes you're like, hey, Billy,
you're fired.
No, but I mean, how do you know? I mean, for a guy like Justin, look, he's got 80 employees in there, okay? And so for anybody out there who's listening who has 80 employees, I mean, how do you know when it's time to go, okay, the numbers have slid enough, it's time to get serious?
Well, I mean, for example, the other day, I had to have a difficult conversation with one of my doctors that works for me. And, we tracked the numbers, and he had just, started to just spend more and more time in the exam room. He knew he had 2 other doctors working for him, so he just kind of was checking out, and they're visiting, and, hey, how you doing? Oh, you want to see some more pictures? Oh, your kids are so cute. Oh, it's awesome. You're just doing awesome. And then pretty soon he'd come wandering out of the exam room, and the other doctors have been seeing 2 and 3 and 4. And while he's in there, he's just kind of moseying down, and no one's complaining because with 3 doctors there, I mean, patients are being seen in a timely manner. I mean, no one's complaining to me, right? Except I'm following the key performance indicator numbers. Oh,
and so you pull up in your Porsche, you get out, and it's like the gas, comes out, and you come out of a fog. You come out and you walk up to this guy, and it's time to. I mean, do you wear a mask or are you wearing a cape? I mean, what's it look
a
like?
little bit of both. No, that's when I go to Comic-Con. The Comic-Con stuff. Okay. That's when I go to Arthur's thing.
We'll be ready for you.
No, I sit him down and have a heart-to-heart. I'm just honest with him. I'm beating around the bush. I don't sit there and go, so yeah.
I've got your father.
I've got one of my doctors. Awkward moment. It's kind of like that Austin Powers deal where everybody leave the room. And it's like, well, no, not you. And it's like, no, not you. No, not you. And he only wanted one person to leave the room, instead of telling that person to leave. He was like, just, he said everybody leave. And then he made them all stop except him. I don't sit there and go, okay, we have a problem and somebody isn't carrying their weight. And it's upsetting the other doctors, and therefore it's upsetting me. And no, I talk to them directly. I said, listen, bro, you're spending too much time in the room. I don't know what's going on. Once or twice a day it happens, I know. And I know you need to spend a little extra time with them sometimes, but, you're seeing, wherever the number was, 25, and your coworkers are seeing 45 and 50. That's not fair to them, and, you need to be fair. So, and I know it's never going to be an exact third when 3 people are not working.
So coach Justin through this. Give him your feedback. Okay. People like him who've got, just what questions do you have? Because he manages, obviously, he's got a lot of employees. Yeah. What question would you have for Dr. Z about, managing your key performance indicators? Because you do it obviously very well, but what question would you have for the Dr. Z about this?
Yeah, so we look at our numbers as well. But I would say when it comes to managing people, that's one of the hardest tasks there is get them on board with your vision. And some people, I asked this question the other day, one of our employee meetings, is, why are you here? Why are you here? Is it just to get that hourly? Is it just get out of the house? Is it to grow, to be challenged? Why are you here? Because I found out if they're not motivated to grow on their own, that my company's not going to grow. And so a lot of times it's almost like you just staff someone else just to motivate, just to train them, but it takes away from your productivity, your profit, your revenue, all that stuff. So how often do you have to come in and crack that whip, would you say, with your team?
Well, I crack it with different teams. I crack it fairly, fairly. I guess with the businesses that I own, I'm cracking it probably more than I think, because like in my auto auction, I've got I always get my sales guys. What's your top 10? What's your top one? Who'd you talk to today? What's new? What's going on? And a lot of times I'll have to whip those guys because they're outside sales and they need constant supervision, which sometimes I got to then.
Holy cow!
I got to whip the guy that's giving them the constant supervision. So that's kind of a those are big hairy cats that'll run wild on you if you let them.
How often do you have to get upset?
Well, I try not to get upset. That's the key. I mean, that's the thing.
How often do you get upset?
I get upset all the time, but they just don't know it. I'm burning and mad sometimes. I'm just take a deep breath and I look at them and smiling and going, that's not what I hired you for.
I had a red hot moment today. Maybe we'll have time for that later, but
Well, tell me. We can walk through a red hot moment. Or you want to do it after the break?
After the break, yeah. Let's.
When we come back, Justin's going to walk us through his red hot moment, and I want to get Arthur's most recent red hot moment, because that's the thing about business is nobody talks about the stuff behind the stuff. I mean, you could read all the leadership books in the world. That's not the hard thing about growing a business. It's when your theory meets the practical, and it's time to take the gloves off and get stuff done. How do you handle it without going to jail? All right? I mean, so stay tuned. Thrivetime Show. We're going to talk about how to get serious when we come back.
Sam Parker.
Okay. I'm Karina Parker.
We live here in town.
We're looking to be in the food industry. Thrivetime workshops, we've learned about advertising and what we need to do to get our name out there, what we need to do to get to the top of Google, the necessary steps that we need to take right now to get to where we want to be.
The Thrivetime workshop experience is really encouraging, and it's great hands-on information and stuff that we can relate to, because we're able to talk to people here that are going through the same stuff that we are.
There's motivation everywhere. If you don't feel motivated, then something's wrong with you.
He's very upbeat.
All over the walls.
Yeah. He's very funny, like a comedian, but at the same time, he wants you to learn. And so if you have any questions, he's willing to help you and talk you through any questions that you have, but at the same time making it fun and encouraging for you.
He's also very candid. He doesn't hold anything back that most people are like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't say that because it's offensive.
Yeah, you can tell he's being real.
He doesn't care about offending people.
Yeah, he just wants to help you.
So I heard an advertisement that said to leave your wallet at home, and I mean, that's what it's been the whole time. It hasn't been like, oh, make sure you stop by our table in the back and buy 10 books and sign up for a 2-year subscription with us. It was just like, hey, what we do offer, there wasn't pressure, and it's a month-to-month thing. It's not like you're signing your life away.
Crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break.
All right, welcome back to the Audio Dojo of Mojo, broadcasting from the left coast of the Arkansas River inside the beautiful Thrive15.com world headquarters and inside the box that rocks and into the magical microphones. It is the Thrivetime Show on your radio, and we appreciate you for listening, because we know that you're the kind of people who are not going to accept mediocrity. You have decided that this is going to be the year that you take your finances to the next level, and you're so tired of hearing of a thriver just like you who literally went from being a school teacher to having 52 clients on a $499 per month tutoring membership program that's allowed him to achieve $24,000 a month of gross revenue. And you're going, I'm 50. I got to do it. This is my year. I'm 35. I got to do it. I've been dreaming about it, but you want to turn it into reality. And so you tune into this show faithfully every day, because you know that we're talking about the stuff behind the stuff. And so today we're talking about how do you maintain focus in a perpetually distracted world. I mean, smartphones, text messages, Facebook messages, Instagram messages, emails. They just don't stop. Missed calls, just mail. Unbelievable. So Dr. Z, just before we went to the break, Justin was starting to kind of tell us about a pretty crazy scenario that started to happen today as he's attempting to maintain focus. He's got the focus. He's staying on task there, and then all of a sudden some craziness from the business world starts to happen there. Z, I'm curious to know what it is that's happening there.
Well, he described it as a red hot moment, so I'm kind of curious too. So unpack it, Justin. Let's hear about it.
So maybe you guys can relate. You get a phone call, right? You're not in the office or one of the shops of your business.
Yeah.
So talking about focus and staying on task here. So I get a phone call, and I'm talking with one of my managers, my district manager, and I'm checking on a shop and how it went yesterday and how it flowed. And there was some bad feedback. So I said, okay, what's this about? Is it a haircut? Something like the haircut? And no, not really. And since we're appointment-based at Elephant Room, guys love it because they can get in within 5 minutes of entering the door. They get their beverage. They go back, get their haircut. They're out of within 30 minutes, right? Appointment-based. So on occasions, we'll have 1 to 3 front desk lounge coordinators, as I call them, working up front. So it'll always be 1 to 3. Well, on this particular day yesterday, there was 2 of them, right? And a gentleman gets checked in on the computer, notified on the computer that he's there, and he just is sitting up front through his whole entire appointment. And so I asked the 2 individuals working up front, I said, well, what happened? I said, well, we just got talking and lost track of time and didn't realize it, and next thing we knew, his appointment was over, and he never got taken back for his haircut.
Wow.
So staying focused is the key. But I'm like, what do I pay you for? Was it a good conversation? But that's a red hot right there, because you're, as a company, as a business, you're always going to have some negative feedback or areas you can improve. But there's things like that just can never happen.
I'm gonna cue this song up because I've been looking for an excuse to play Boy George for a long time.
Oh,
and,
okay.
I wish I could judge you and say, oh, that's never happened to me.
It never happened.
But I remember one time we had a bridal show, and this wonderful bride came in to book her wedding, to meet with the DJ company, to meet with this wedding planner. And he greeted the mom, greeted the bride, served him coffee, did all the things on the checklist. And I walk in, I peer in, I look inside the office, I look inside the presentation room, Z, and I discover that the lights are off. Like he's having a romantic encounter.
What?
He's meeting a customer in the dark.
What?
And so I'm thinking to myself, does he really want to hurt me? Is that what he's wanting to do? Does he?
I see where you're going.
I started to ask this question. it makes you contemplate maybe cross-dressing is a good idea. Maybe you should just give up on life.
Maybe he was trying to hurt you. I don't know.
I'm just thinking maybe I should just drink during the day. Maybe I should smoke while pumping gas. Maybe it's not worth it. Why even
Run
try?
with scissors next you'll be doing. I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, maybe I shouldn't pay my taxes. Maybe it's just all these following the rules.
They'll never catch you.
And so the thing is, I pulled the guy aside and I said, buddy, you're meeting with the couple in the dark. And I want to know, is this the first time? He goes, do I need to have the lights on? I kind of prefer the dark. And I go, I want to know, being serious, how many brides have you met with in the dark? He goes, well, I only turn the lights on if I know you're here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm not kidding. I come home and I'm just like so mad. And I'm so mad at the profundity of the dumbness, Z.
Well, the other thing I would ask you, though, before you would get all upset about it and have a red hot moment and start swinging and flailing and gnashing of teeth, what was his close rate?
He was like 50%.
Oh, and what was the best close rate of any of your guys?
Should be like in the 80s.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so boom,
And I wasn't managing the numbers
That'd
back
be
in the
funny
day.
though. It's like, well, he closed every bride he met with. I go, well, why you be mad? But that fills in the rest of the equation.
Now wait a minute. Did you see this bride? I mean, should the lights have been off?
No. Arthur.
Hey,
Arthur.
See, I'm just helping the guy out.
That's why we only have you on the show every once in a while. It's just that kind of thing. It really takes the room down.
I know.
Does that. He's
and we're sitting here at lunchtime. Of course, if you listen on the podcast, it could be any time for you right now. And share the podcast, please. But you think he would have brought us at least some Chick-fil-A or something. Maybe a waffle fry or just, maybe he's got one in the bottom of his car.
Or maybe some chicken for my chicken shake.
Or maybe some chicken for your
chicken shake.
Sam, our producer, is literally trying to eat as much protein as possible as he's training for a powerlifting competition. So he's been juicing chicken. Which is sick.
I think that's just not sanitary, but I will bring you a chicken shake next time I come, I promise, but I'm not going to juice it. I got to draw my line somewhere.
Now, Arthur, tell us about your upcoming event. For anybody just tuning in who's not familiar with you, you're obviously one of the owners of Chick-fil-A in Tulsa. You have 2 locations, one at the mall, one at 71st and Garnett. You've set some world records, Guinness Book of World Records for what? World's largest iced tea, world's largest snow cone. What's this new thing you're working on? Tell me about this big event you're putting on.
Well, it's one of those that, for the business owners that are out in the community, getting involved with boards and volunteering is important. And so we volunteered with an organization that helps with literacy for kids, and they want to raise funds by having a Comic-Con, which is great because I love Comic-Con.
Suppose I'm listening and I don't know what a Comic-Con is. Is that a new kind of communist?
It is. They dress up like superheroes is what they do.
What is a Comic-Con?
No, a Comic-Con is kind of it's a pop culture event where people that are like-minded get to go and hang out and, just hang out with their community and do fun things. Like a lot of them will dress up and they'll have contests. They call them cosplay contests. Those of you who are out there that are nerds, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you who are not probably won't go to it anyway.
Well, Arthur, I want to ask you a question. So it's a typical dress-up event, and what's your and I know you've probably been to quite a few of them. So tell us about some of the costumes you've worn in the past and what's your go-to now?
Okay, so in all fairness, I've actually never dressed up to go to one of them, but I do have a costume room at the house that my kids and I, anytime there's tornadoes in Oklahoma.
He has a dress-up room.
That's what you need to play Boy George.
What does this mean?
Focus, boys, focus.
I can't believe you're not wearing like the Chick-fil-A cow costume. That'd be clever to wear that through that thing, I'm
gonna wear that next time I'm up here.
Well, there you go. See, boom, right there. Focus on great ideas.
How many kids do you have, Arthur?
I have 6 kids.
That's how he does it. He has the dress-up room.
Right. Well, here we're in Oklahoma, right? So in Oklahoma, with all the tornadoes come in, when we go into that's actually our storm room. So we'll go down there and we all come out as superheroes. I mean, what's not to like?
No, storm me down
see,
there.
here's the deal. Arthur had a practice event before this big event, and I've got live audio from the event. I typically will sneak mic people. I'll just mic up this
all the time.
Put a mic in the room. This is audio from Arthur's last event here. I want to just cue it up real quick here.
Sorry, we're going streaking through the quad and into the gymnasium. Come on, everybody! Come on, Snoop!
Snoop-a-loop!
Snoop! No, it's cool. I'm cool. Bring your green hat. Let's go. Come on, everybody, we're going.
Okay, so that was not from his last event.
That's right. I was going to say, you can't confirm that anyway.
Yeah, we cannot. Okay, now here's the deal, Travers. We're talking about focusing and how to stay focused on growing your business. So here's some things you cannot focus on. Vague goals. Vague action items. People that are not going to pay you. People that will not ever pay you. Commitments you didn't make. Z, please pontificate. Please educate. When you talk about commitments, we talk about commitments that you didn't make. Somebody puts something on your calendar and it's not you. Somebody tries to bring you into a meeting that you don't need to be involved in. You are the master of this. There is nobody I've ever seen in person who's better at time management. Talk to me about some of the things that people try to rope you in on that you didn't sign up for, and you're going, no, I don't need to be here.
Well, we have a meeting, and there's a certain amount of, if it's a salesperson and you're selling, there's a certain amount of rapport you want to build with that person. But you also then have a timeline that you've scheduled, because it's your day and it's your time. So you have an hour. Let's just pretend like it's an hour. So you have an hour lunch, you have an hour meeting with somebody, and you're trying to sell them, they're trying to sell you, right? So someone's trying to sell something, right?
Right.
And at some point, you're sitting there and you're building the rapport, because that's very important in our sales. What we teach you at our in-person workshops, one of the steps of selling is building rapport. So you want them to like you. And you want them to like them. You want to listen to them. You want to give them eye contact and smile and build your rapport. But at some point, you got to go from rapport to getting the deal done.
Getting it done.
Getting it done. And that transition, that switch is what you're talking about. And that's what I'll do. I'll just, when there's a nice little pause, then I will say, okay, so let's talk about what we're here for. Let's talk about this deal. Tell me about it. What do you need? What do you want? What are deal breakers? What's it going to take to get it done? And depending on whether I'm buying or selling, then obviously I react differently. If I'm selling, then I'm, boom. If I'm buying, then I listen and I ask those questions. But some of the questions that are very important, and a lot of people stop and kind of listen to them. I go, okay, well, you said it takes this, this, and this. I'm like, well, which of those are deal breakers? And they look at me and they go, what? They go, well, you told me the price. You told me when you could bring it. You told me boom, boom, boom. Which of those are deal breakers? In other words, if that price has to be that, if it's any less, it's a deal breaker. The item has to be delivered at this time or it's a deal breaker. And so then what you do is you start defining what is the most important part of what that thing is. So it's not vague. It's not, well, it's around $1,000 and we could, so you get things defined, and by defining them, you take the vagueness out of the
Justin's
deal.
done a really good job on finding elephant in the room locations this way. He's actually successfully negotiated the last 2 leases. And I know thrivers out there I've talked to who've been trying to find and sign a lease for years.
Yeah.
So Justin, how have you been able to negotiate that effectively and get it done as opposed to just talking about a deal? Because you've blown up unrealistic deals, you've found realistic deals. What's your method?
So when I first placed a call on the property, whoever's representing that property is probably taking tons of phone calls. So I create a sense of urgency, let them know that this is someone that is qualified to lease their space, that this is someone that is a strong tenant in their property. But I ask the questions to find out, what are they wanting? Are they wanting, do they have cash to put up front for tenant improvement? They don't want to put any cash up front. Would they rather trade that for some free rent up front? What are they actually wanting out of that space, and just create that win-win? And so it's not just about me, it's them. And so the recent deal we did, it was an amazing property. It was just it was neglected for some time, and they didn't want to put the cash up. And so I knew that was my move there. But then I needed to walk away with something as well.
And Justin does a great job at that. And I'm just telling you this, though. You have to be able to get things done. Henry Ford said it's hard to build a reputation based upon what you're going to do. So if you've ever struggled to get stuff done in this perpetually distracted world, you're going to want to stay tuned, because we come back, we're going to talk about the next step of focus, which is your core. You've got to focus on your core tasks. There's a lot of things you could do, but there's core tasks that you must do, unless you want to end up living in a van down by the river next to our beautiful Thrive15.com world headquarters in Jinx, America, Z.
Well, the good news is you've either got waterfront or beachfront property on any given day with the Arkansas River.
Stay tuned, Thrivetimeshow.com.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing. Note.
My name is Sean Lohman, and I'm from here in Tulsa, actually, Owasso. I own a residential redevelopment company, so I buy properties and then I fix them up and then I sell them for a profit. Well, Thrive is very non-industry specific. So when we come here, there's business owners from all different aspects of business. They're doing all different industries, and he's teaching us how to look at it from that angle, because he owns 9 businesses. Clay Clark owns 9 businesses, so he knows what's in common with all of them. So he's teaching these big principles, things like just the backbone of how a sales conversation should look, or specifically what your marketing campaign needs to look like in order to make it be sustainable. Those are some of the biggest things that I'm going to take away and implement immediately. It's an intimate environment. There's less than 30 people here, business owners, so you get a chance to ask questions, and it's just really informative and inspiring. Oh, this place is cool. There's a lot going on in here. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot of inspiring and motivational things on the walls, and lots of accomplishments, and just a very cool yet productive atmosphere. I'm coming in here yesterday, and there's a sales team in here. It was Friday, so they're ringing appointment bells and hitting gongs when they're making sales, and it's just a really motivating environment to be in, to see how business is done, basically. Clay's presentation style is really great. This is kind of a no BS, very direct sort of style, but he'll also get non-specific with what he's teaching, and then he'll get very specific, and he'll use stories throughout the process to really help it connect to you and make it implementable. Consistently, he's offered an opportunity to ask questions at the end of each workshop, and so that's really where the learning takes place, is asking those questions and getting those direct answers, so that we can take those action items away from that. I don't see enough questions being asked, and sometimes that's just natural, but if people are missing out on the opportunity to ask questions, they're missing out on the opportunity to learn. And so if there's anything that's going to stop you from learning and growing, it's you. If you're here, you're going to learn and grow as long as you're motivated to do that. And these other seminars that I went to 6 actually in the last year. So of these 6, at every single opportunity, at the end, there's always a back of the room thing. Hey, you can spend a little money here and get this or that or this. And although those things are helpful, that's not always necessarily the best feeling we want to get. So he wants us all to know, and he's very clear about the fact that he's not trying to upsell us anything. His motivations are different. He's not trying to sell us. He's trying to help us. He's trying to mentor us. And he's very open about it. So I'd say it's awesome. That aspect of it's awesome. We need more people who are motivated in this world. We need more people who are willing to become entrepreneurs, who are willing to create jobs. We need more of that. There's not enough of it. So that's, to me, the message. That's the goal, is mentor 1 million people is this company's idea. And it's a beautiful idea, and I'm behind it 100%. So I want to contribute in any way I can as I move forward. This is just awesome.
Anybody listening right now from the United States, anybody who's moved to the United States, anybody from this great state of Oklahoma, anybody listening here in Tennessee, anybody listening here, we have Thrivers who emailed us today from Tennessee, a Thriver who emailed us from Maine, one from Idaho. Hello and welcome to the Thrivetime Show on your radio, the show where we are serious about helping you start or grow a successful business. Because when you have a successful business, Z, how does your life change once you've cracked the code and built that successful business?
Well, you get to do what it is you really want to do. And you go, what? But I love doing that thing. I know, but here's what happens. You build a job, then you turn it into a business, and then you have time freedom and financial freedom. And you know what's so fun about doing a business talk show, Clay?
What is it?
Well, I'm sure that the people that do a gardening show probably are very excited when people call up and say, oh, my tulips look wonderful this year. You're like, oh, that's awesome.
The photosynthesis that we're seeing with this plant is truly amazing.
The political shows when someone calls up and says, you know what, you've got just this, I've had the same view on that as you did. That's awesome.
They can't build that wall. It's impossible to get Mexico to pay for it.
Flip-flop, flip-flop. Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. People that are doing, all the different kinds of talk radio out there. But when our people call us and say, you've changed my life. I've 10 times my business. I have 4 times my business. I'm now actually have a business that's making money. I'm now, oh my gosh, I'm being able to take care of my extended family. I'm being able to go on vacations for the first time with my family in years. I'm filling the blanks. It's time freedom, financial freedom. And we're not all about just make the money and run. We're about, hey, money is the gas you put in the car to get to where you want to go. And without it, you sit there in your car in the parking lot.
We have a Thriver up in Boise, Idaho, who I just talked to yesterday, who reported that this is his first time in his life that his business has generated a $50,000 profit in a month. And this time last year, they weren't making any money at all. And so that's exciting. I mean, when you think about Tip Top Canine, the local dog training business, they're now top in Google. They're generating deals every day. Barbie Cookies. The Tulsa Oilers, we work with those guys. They doubled their attendance. Record attendance. 16,000 people attended one game. These are all real examples. And so the next area we're focusing on today as we talk about focus is your core tasks. So here's an example. You can get really, really busy, but you still have to pay the bills. You can get really, really busy, but you still have to sell something. You can get really, really busy, but you still have to see your kids, right? If you're a parent, you got to invest that time. And so I'm going to give you a really harsh Bible verse from 1 Timothy 5:8.
Here we go.
The King James Version. And Z, I would like for you to unpack it. And Arthur, I want to get your feedback on this. And I just want to because you guys have played the role of father with many kids. And here we go. It says this, but if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than the infidel. That seems pretty harsh if you can't provide for your family. I mean, it's already tough enough. I mean, why is, the King James Version of 1 Timothy freaking out at me here? That seems pretty heavy-handed. I mean, see, I see a lot of entrepreneurs that are so excited about all these ideas, and they're not paying the bills. They're not making any money. What advice would you have?
I know. I've had several entrepreneurs come up to me, and their business isn't, bringing what it needs to bring. And then they say, what do I do? And I go, well, you might have to get a job on the side. You might have to do something else to do it, because I tell you what, a man or a parent, I should just say a parent or a head of a household, If you're not taking care of your family, shame on you. I mean, now I know some countries it's more difficult. I know opportunities out there around the world are more challenging in some areas. But I also know that if you have the drive, people from every walks of life, from every race, from every religion, from everything you can think of, find a way when they want to be successful. And so that's what we're about, giving you practical business steps. I mean, start small, grow it, it's okay. Live below your means, it's okay. Delayed gratification, it's okay. Because you have to take care of your family. You know what? Someone was telling me the other day that I was talking to him about how I've been taking care of some of my extended family. And I laughed. I said, well, they said, why are you doing that? I said, well, if I won't, who's going to, right? And so it's one of those things where, working at your job, building to a business, and then having finances that you can help those around you is awesome. And that's what we should be doing.
Z, we're having a lot of communists from
North
Korea, and they're starting to, recently Russia, which is not a communist country anymore, allegedly, they just brought a submarine 30 miles off the coast of Boston. And you know why they did that, Z? They couldn't get reception of the Thrivetime.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they wanted to download our stuff.
It's pretty intense. They would take a nuclear submarine that was fully armed to do that. But I understand. I mean, they want to get the signal.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, and they need capitalism over there in the worst way. They need the idea that whenever a regime's been in that, like poor Cuba. I mean, I had a brother go down there on a missions trip, and he took actually my spot on the trip, and he was just saying the people down there just they're just so suspicious, and they're not thinking about what I can do to change my stars. They're thinking about how do I get a free handout, and that's because that's years of that being the policy surrounding them. So this concept of you can. That's what I love about the United States of America. We're not a caste system. We're not if your dad was a cobbler, you're going to be a cobbler, and your kids are going to be a cobbler, and their kids are going to be a cobbler. I love cobblers. Apple cobblers, the best. No, they make shoes. Or a thatcher, a roof repair person, or whatever. We're not stereotyped here. We're not pigeonholed in that, and that's more and more around the world. But the point is that you can do something about it, and this is the year to do it. Come to one of our in-person workshops.
Our next one is April 21st and 22nd. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com, you can learn all the information, and I will promise you this. We are definitely fans of it. We've invested time, energy, money into it, but just read the reviews. Just go to Thrive, just Google Thrivetime Show reviews, Thrive 15 conference reviews, read the reviews, and you'll see at this 2-day, 15-hour workshop, we're going to teach time management, sales, marketing, search engine optimization, leadership, personal finance. It's all taught here. You got to get out here. I'm telling you at thrivetimeshow.com. Now, I want to ask you this, Arthur. You've obviously had a lot of success with Chick-fil-A, but there were some lean times where you were just getting going with the company.
Yep.
Can you talk to me about the roughest part of your journey into the Chick-fil-A game?
Well, it was at the very beginning when I got with Chick-fil-A, and before Chick-fil-A was the name it is today. And I had to do it all. I mean, I would go out and work the register. I would go in the back and work in the kitchen. If the store needed to be cleaned and scrubbed, I would be doing it. I'd be doing payroll. I mean, we did whatever it took to get the job done. And if that meant I was there till 4 a.m. balancing the books, then that's what it took.
And you were located in the Promenade Mall, is that correct? Or were you in the what mall? The Eastland Mall?
Eastland Mall. Yeah, Promenade was the step up.
So you were in the Eastland Mall, which if anybody's ever been to the Eastland Mall, there was like a Sears, a JCPenney, and then you. In that in the bottom of the basement, right? I mean, It was like an empty mall.
It was pretty empty. In fact, they installed a library in the mall, which that just doesn't do any good.
Keep it quiet, everybody. Welcome to the mall. So it was not a good move, but you had to grind and you had to provide for your family during that lean time, and you had to push yourself. And when we come back, what we're going to talk about is this next level of focus. F stands for focus, right? On, right? And then C, your core tasks, and then U, until success. And we're going to talk about what that means. I mean, the level of pain you have to be able to put up with, the tolerance of pain you have to be able to put up with to become successful. Because, Z, once you burn the boats and you say, I'm all in it, the business has to work. This business has to succeed. Things change. I don't think a lot of entrepreneurs know what that's like to fully commit.
Well, you have to have the eye of the tiger. I mean, you have to have that focus of the tiger. Have you ever been to the zoo? You go to the tiger cage and when they look at you, you're like, ooh, that's focus.
Thrive Nation, stay tuned. ThriveTimeShow.com. Check it out.
My name is Tyler Schultz with Witness Security from here in Tulsa. Well, I actually started listening to Thrive on the radio, 1170, and then I got my dad into listening to the show. And then it actually turned into Clay gave us a call, and we started actually working with Clay on a weekly basis. He's helped us drastically when it comes to the SEO, getting us a little bit higher in different markets. Then he offered the conference, and just learned a lot when it comes to the sales and the employee side of things. It's going to help our business drastically. Oh, very intuitive, just pulling you in to break down each part of your business. The interview process, the employee process. If employee's not working out, you let them go. It's a drastic experience. You just have to come and check it out. I mean, there's so many things that they can help you with. Clay's a funny guy. He just wants to get into each and every person's business and help you out. Oh, I know I've asked a couple of questions, and he's broken down that question and answered it in several different ways. There's so many different things. The SEO, first and foremost, he will help you get the more business coming in, and then once that is coming in, then he helps you with the employee process of do I need to hire more people? What do I need to put in place? And he gets you there. You hear of all the other different type conferences, and I myself have never been to one, but the walking on coals and all that stuff, that just seems like a bunch of hype that isn't really needed. And I know of several people that have gone to those type conferences, and yet they haven't, because there's no actionable deals. You really don't have any moving forward steps. It's just hype, and it's not needed. Well, just the cost in of itself versus $6,000 for one conference and no actionable steps versus $1,500 and there is actionable steps. You can't beat it.
The heart is a blue.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into the conversation. It is a beautiful day. It's a day that the Lord has made, and I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it because I'm going to tell you what. You could either focus on the positive or you could focus on the negative. And I'm telling you what, we all live in a world where there's, if you're listening right now and you have a family problem, guess what? I'm with you. If you're listening right now and you have a financial problem, guess what? I've been there. If you're listening right now and you have any issues in life, guess what? You're a normal human. That's what life is. But you've got to decide to look at the positive side of things and to push through whatever pain you're going through. And if you've ever started a business and you built that logo and you built that website and that menu and that pricing and that product and that service, and you are pumped. But then, Justin, you remember when you opened up the elephant in the room, you got all your visions coming together, and then it's kind of that. And, you have like 2 employees, and they're going, hey, are we going to have any customers? Could you kind of share how soul-sucking that feels when you have a business with no customers?
I don't know what that's like.
When you first started, what was that like?
Arthur, he's talking to you. You talking to me?
When you first started, I want to get your perspective.
No, yeah. So you definitely have more time in your hands when you're just managing 2 employees instead of 80. And but I try to stay so active and so busy that thought didn't get into the back of my mind. And so if it's cleaning and sweeping and mopping 10 times a day, staying productive, or just telling the crew that the vision over and over and again. But realistically, you have to go back to your game plan. And I knew our game plan was getting guys in for the experience. And if it was cold calling, if it was the first visit for $1, and it was a matter of time until the customers were speaking about it, and so I had multiple people we could afford on the phones making the calls, and then it comes to fruition.
Z, for anybody out there listening who's had some soul-sucking experiences trying to get their business off the ground, I'm going to give some fun facts to the listeners, and I would love it if you'd break them down here for me, okay? So here we go. FedEx started in 1962 in the mind of the founder, right? And in July of 1975, they still had not made a profit yet. 13 years. They finally made a profit at the end of July of 1975, 13 years into the game. Z, what encouragement do you have for the Thrivers?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a long time to weather the storm. You've got to have a lot of capital behind you. In fact, if you're listening out there, I know some great sources of capital. One is Regent Bank. There's 3 branches. One's in Nowata. Yes, that's right. If you're listening from around the world, it's actually called Nowata. It's in northeast Oklahoma. Tulsa, of course, is the main branch, then Oklahoma City. So you've got to make sure you're well-funded if you're going to go that deep. And everybody thinks, hey, I'm going to start a business and it's going to happen overnight. It's going to go viral.
Viral, bro.
Everybody's just going to go nuts on it. And but a lot of it's the grind. There's so many businesses that didn't make money for years, and the guys didn't lose their focus. Real entrepreneur does not lose their focus. How many people would have said after 13 years, after what year were they going, dude, really? Dude, seriously? Dude. What are you thinking?
Is this going to work?
Dude, really? And so the thing about it is that you find out with entrepreneurs, you quit, give up is not in their vocabulary.
Z, if let's say a young man was walking into your lair, walking into your office,
my study,
and you had invested some money in him, and he says, I'm thinking about giving up. I'm thinking about quitting. Things have been tough. I've started this FedEx business in 1962. It's 1975, and I'm thinking about quitting. I'm Amazon. I started in 1994, and it's 2003, and I haven't made a profit. I'm Amazon. I haven't made a profit in 9 years. I'm thinking about quitting. What would you say to him?
I would sit him, I'd walk up to him, I'd take him. He probably has a little tear coming out of his eye, because he's sad, right? I'd take him, and just like in the show, when my daughter's wedding, I'd grab him, and I'd pop him, pop. I'd say, be a man. Be a man. I didn't raise you to be this way. We're gonna fight through this. We're gonna make it happen. We got a great business, a great company. We got a great vision. Yeah, we're going through some hard times. We haven't made so much money, but you know what? We're gonna figure out a way to keep it afloat. We're gonna push through because we started this. Yep. I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
Now, Z, I want to ask you this here. Okay, so let's say that Ted Turner, because Ted Turner started his business in 1970, and in 1980 he still had not produced a profit. So imagine that guy walks into your office and says, Ted walks in and says, it's been 10 years. I've been working so hard trying to build CNN, TBS, TNT, the whole deal. My name's Ted Turner. I'm trying to build this thing, and I haven't made any money, and I'm thinking about quitting. What would you say to Ted?
I'd say, Ted, we can't do that. Let's go buy a big ranch in Lake Montana and just get buffalo, okay? You and me. Let's go do that. Let's just go out in the wild and just, run around with the buffaloes, man.
Hypothetically speaking, let's say you're talking to the founders of ESPN, the father and son team of Bill and Scott Rasmussen, who teamed up with Aetna Insurance to start an all-sports network in 1978. And on September 7th, 1979, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, the first Sports Center aired. And now they're coming to you in 1985, 7 years later, and they still have not made $1 of profit. What would you say to those two men?
I'd say we need to go to Regent Bank and get a line of credit. We need to get some money. That's a long time to pay for all this, and you've got to have a great concept, and you've got to go out there and you've got to sell because you've got to have investors. You've got to be able to go out there and sell the image, sell the vision, and get people to buy onto it, because unless you have a big silver spoon or a big trust fund backing you, it's tough to weather that long just sitting there, not making money. Then all pretty soon you're like, I've only got 2 kidneys. I can't sell another kidney. What other organ could they possibly want from me? I don't know.
I see a lot of entrepreneurs that they haven't slept in like 2 years. They're sleeping 3 hours a night. You can just see the stress in their eyes, and you say, are you okay? And this is what they typically will say. I've got audio. I talked to one entrepreneur recently, and he was having sort of a meltdown. This is the audio. I have the live. I felt kind of bad recording it, but I felt like the Thrivers should hear it.
What in the world?
That's your favorite actor there. That's Adam Sandler.
Oh, God. Stop.
That's it, Billy. Get the hell out of here.
I'm going to punch him. Arthur, you're next to him. Punch him. Oh, no. Someone punch him.
Sorry. But seriously, for an entrepreneur who's beside themselves, they've been struggling for a long time. Arthur, what feedback would you have? What encouragement would you have for them?
You got to just keep going. That's it. It's simple. Just keep going. There's story after story after story of guys who struggle to make it, but yet They did.
You know, Bill Belichick, he was able to come in. We were able to get him in the office, Z, so we were able to just mic him from afar at the Patriots when they were accepting their world championship, trophy there. We felt like he wanted to give tips to the Thrivers, so we put a microphone up in the air.
Yeah.
We waved it around like we just didn't care. And this was the tip he had for all the Thrivers out there who are thinking about giving up. Z. There was a million people in Boston. You kind of lose the ambiance of the Bostonians. Z, they're out there. They took the day off of work. They took the week off of work. They took the month off of work to celebrate yet another Patriots Super Bowl. And Z, are you excited to know that Marshawn Lynch or maybe Adrian Peterson may come join? I mean, you're a big OU guy. Adrian Peterson joining up with the Patriots. Z, that could be a match made in heaven for me.
Oh my goodness! Oh, is that how? Oh gosh, is that really going to happen?
Do you feel better or worse now that the Porcelain Prince has retired, Tony Romo? He's no longer going to be playing for the Dallas Cowboys. Are you excited that our brittle boy is retired or no?
I'm kind of figuring out. I mean, gosh, Clipboard ride the bench for a few more years, make a few more mil. I guess he's going to go up in the booth, right? So
yeah, he's a great guy. We miss Tony Romo. Tony Romo, I miss you. I wish the Patriots could beat you again. Stay tuned. ThriveTimeShow.com.
Carter. This is my wife, Jensen Watts. She has a photography business that we're trying to get up and growing. So I, listen to talk radio. I drive a lot for work, and got tired of listening to radio all the time, and I can't plug my phone into my truck. It's too old. And so, one day the Thrive show was just in place of the talk show I normally listen to, and it was, definitely more entertaining than most radio shows. And so that's, it took about a week or two before I actually looked more into it. I think it's wonderful. It's been great. It's a great environment. I love the feel in here, and I really love how entertaining Clay can be as well.
Yeah, I am so grateful to be here, and I've loved just learning everything. I'm learning a lot about branding and how to market my business, because that's kind of where I've had a hard time is I can take pictures, I'm good at it, I have my prices and everything, but it's hard to get the clientele. So learning about the marketing has really helped me, and I can't wait to implement it into my own business after this, because it's been so great. We're so grateful to be here. I think I can go home and I have it written out, the steps that I need to take and everything. It's very practical.
Yeah, a big thing that's helped me, even without business stuff, is just a mental attitude aspect they have that I can apply to my current job and current life.
I love it. I am laughing a lot of the time, and it's so entertaining, and I just love being here. It's awesome.
I really like the smaller class group, so it is more of an interaction, even if it isn't, a constant raise my hand, here's the question, here's the answer. It's just that kind of feel, just a smaller.
It's great. Yeah. They haven't tried to upsell us anything. It has all just been very knowledgeable, and they are just teaching you how to grow your business. So
Clay's been very giving with his time, his knowledge, his talents. At work, when I was telling people about this, I hope you're not joining some get-rich scheme. Yeah. Even if it is, he's not going to charge me for it. So, yeah, I'd recommend it. I would even love to come again.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back into the conversation. And if you've ever been distracted, if you've ever received more than 10 text messages in a day, more than 10 voicemails in a day, more than 10 emails in a day, more than 10 missed calls in a day, more than 10 pieces of mail in a day, the average American right now is receiving about 70 data points a day. interruptions, no matter what study you look at, the average American is just bombarded with distractions. Now, if you own a business like Justin Moore here with Elephant in the Room, where you have over 80 employees working with you, Arthur Greeno. Arthur, how many people work at the two Chick-fil-A's at this point? I mean, is there 5,000? Is there 72? Is there 55? How many people work there?
About 127.
So you have 127 people working there at Chick-fil-A. Now, have you ever had a day where, you got everything planned out, you and your wife, your incredible wife, Noel, you have a weekend planned, you're going, this Saturday, we're going to go out to the lake. You're all packed. You've got your vehicle all loaded up with all the accoutrements. You have the chicken ready to go for the grilling. You have the charcoal. Everything is ready to go. You have the lighter. I mean, you've thought about it. You're ready to go. You have the marshmallows. And then an employee calls in sick or calls in dumb or calls in with some sort of personal issue. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, but fortunately, I got a great staff, so they take care of that stuff, and they kind of help me do what I need to do. But occasionally, I do get those phone calls where I have to drop everything I'm doing and go running back to bail something out.
Talk to me about the dark days when you didn't have a great team like you have now. What kind of meltdowns would you have occasionally?
Oh, it was pretty brutal. We actually expected that anytime my wife and I would go on a trip, we'd go to an annual seminar for Chick-fil-A, and every time we went, something catastrophic would happen.
Z, I want to ask you this. When you were first building Dr. Zellner and Associates.
Oh, yeah.
And it was you, because you're Dr. Zellner, right? And it was somebody else, because they were the associates.
Yeah.
Plural.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what kind of problems did you run into, and it's just you and one other person, or you and just two other people? What kind of problems? Because I think more Thrivers are there. More people are there in that struggling startup phase where they're trying to focus.
Yeah.
And they're dealing with all these fires. I mean, what kind of problems did you deal with back in the day?
Well, my problem was my first employee I had was not very, how do you say it? She stole from me.
Oh.
And I'm in an exam room, and she's got nobody watching. We didn't, there weren't cameras back then. I mean, this was 26 years ago, not a long time. But so I would be back in the exam room, and everything was, paper. And so, she would just not write down something, and someone paying cash. And I mean, she was helping herself to the till, and I didn't have anybody there to keep an eye on her. I was in the exam room, and she knew once I walked in there, I was going to be in there for, a little while, a while at least. And so then it was kind of like, when I found that out, so when I got more employees that actually helped, because they kind of keep each other accountable and hold each other. So that was one of the big problems I had starting off day one, is just shrinkage, just stuff walking out the door.
See, when you opened up in 1955 there, Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates, it was an amazing time in American history. I mean, the Fonz would come in and he'd buy his glasses that you hand carved out of wood.
Hey.
You melted your own glass to make the lenses. Z, what was the biggest challenge of making frames out of wood?
Splinters. It was the biggest challenge. You just get them all in your hand, and then one gets infected. Then, it's just tough. It's just tough. So you don't know whether if you wear gloves, and you can't get the fine, training done, or the fine, because there's a little. No, I opened in 91.
91.
I'm not that
old.
91.
Z, you know what was going on in 91? Do you remember 91, Z? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I was actually alive and started my practice in 91.
No, give me one thing you remember from 1991, because I've got one thing I remember from 1991. You tell me, what's one thing you remember specifically from that year? I'm going to quiz you, because I have something I remember from that year very clearly.
I was born in 91.
Oh, wow.
Wow, Sam.
So there we go. There you go. Sam was born. I know one thing clearly that was born, unless you want me to Google. I know one thing that was born in 19. Oh,
Ice Ice Baby, baby.
Come on. Hey, talk about the DJ challenge I threw out.
Okay, here's the deal, Thrivers. Some of the Thrivers out there have been asking themselves, they're saying, how can I get Dr. Z to DJ my wedding? Because you've talked about it openly in there. You're disgruntled that I never approached you about DJing on the weekends.
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, I didn't tell you, but I just figured you could read my mind or see it on my face, and you never did. You never asked me.
Well, because I didn't have great vision. I hadn't seen you yet as an optometrist. I couldn't really see what you were trying to tell me, you know what I mean? But Dr. Z wanted to become an honorary DJ. I never reached out to him, and here I'm building the DJ Connection empire. And so Dr. Z has the new DJ challenge, which is this, Z. Tell me if I'm getting something wrong here.
All right.
If you're listening right now and you have a big party or a wedding or a bat mitzvah, a corporate extravaganza, and you want to take it to a meta level, you want to go above the normal party, you want to make it so good that people start crying, you can email us to info@thrive15.com, and if there's enough of a compelling reason, when you email us info@thrive15.com, Dr. Z will rent the finest equipment that DJconnection.com has. He'll get the good stuff. and he will come out there, and he and I will DJ your event for free. Is this what you're saying, Z?
Yeah, we're going to choose one event. Info at Thrive15.com. If you know someone's getting married, you know someone's going to have a big party, or you just know someone who needs some DJs, and you would like to have us come out, just give us the most compelling letter. We're going to choose one, and I'm going to keep this contest open for a little while, and then we'll get ready to get into the big wedding season. I know, but there's birthdays, there's other events out there that you'd like to have a DJ, and Clay and I will come out personally, and I wanted that's on my bucket list, to DJ one event. And then we just do one event. So that's just it. So we do the most compelling. So,
we just drop the mic. We get out there. Now, Dr. Z can break it down. He'll come out and teach line dances. He's interactive. He'll teach the Soul Train line. He does the whole deal. It's a game-changing offer there.
Oh, game-changing.
Now, Thrivers, here's the deal. I want to make sure we're getting this, okay? The recap here. Focus. F stands for focus. O, on, okay? C, core tasks until success. Now, Z, this is the thing I want to get your feedback on. I want to get Justin's and Arthur's as we go through the speed round here. What does success look like for you, Z? What does success look like for you? What makes it all worth it?
Well, success looks like for me, I obviously have some dollar goals, but those dollar goals are based on things that I want to do. So when I can, for me, it was a time thing, because I worked so hard as a younger man that I really like sometimes in a day when I have not scheduled a whole lot and I just can sleep until I wake up, and then I can do whatever it is. I wake up that day and I go, I wonder what I'm going to do today. And I really enjoy those days and treasure those days. And then also being able to help the people around me, my extended family and people that are less fortunate around the world. I really enjoy doing that. So, I had some time freedoms that I've hit, and then I've had some financial freedoms that I've hit.
Now, Justin, what's your big goal, man? What's success look like for you, dude?
It's Dr. Z's life right there. I put a picture of him each morning. I wake up and
that's scary.
Walk into the street.
That's scary.
It's kind of weird.
That's a little awkward, but
okay, it got weird there.
It got a little awkward.
But yeah, so the finding definitely you have the financial goals, but the freedom to do what you want to do on any given day, and then to be able to impact people, help people, and help them get to where they want to go as well. By helping other people, you'll figure the goals out yourself, and you'll be able to help yourself as well. Can't all be about you.
Now I want to ask you, Arthur Greeno, what does success look like for you, my friend?
Well, what success looks like to me is, like Z said, I mean, there's always going to be the financial part, but part of going along with that financial part is being able to teach, inspire, and serve people, whether that's my employees or my kids. And it's also having the ability to be there. My kids are younger, and so I want to make sure that at the end of my life, I'm not saying, looking back and saying, I wish I worked more. That's not what's going to happen. It's going to be I got to spend the time with my kids, my family, and help bring them up the way they need to be.
Phil Libin is the CEO of Evernote. He started Evernote, and his definition of success is my favorite. He says, the secret of happiness is minimizing the amount of time you spend with people you don't choose to be with. And I got to be honest, I love hanging out with people that are positive, that are proactive, that want to seize the day. And I just don't enjoy spending time with people I don't want to be with. So I love spending time with my kids, my wife. That's what I enjoy. And so I don't care what your goals are, what my goals are, Thrivers. It's all about, don't let society tell you that your goals are right or wrong. Define your own goals today. I don't care where you're at in life. Take a moment and write down your F6 goals, your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and fun, and make sure that you're headed on that course. And if you want to get there faster, we encourage you to come out to our next in-person Thrivetime workshop. It's on April 21st and 22nd there at the beautiful Riverwalk here in beautiful Jenks, America, on the left coast of the Arkansas River. It is $500 for 4 tickets. You could buy $500 to get you a ticket for you and 3 other people. Check it out, thrivetimeshow.com. Now, Z, also we have one-on-one mentorship available for the Thrive Nation.
It's really great because what will happen is sometimes you go, okay, I know what to do, but I don't have a team of ninja, business experts to do it with me. So we've now offered our team of ninja experts to you for a very nominal fee, and it's pretty awesome.
Graphic designers, photographers, videographers, search engine optimizers for less money than it would cost you to hire one full-time employee, one barista. The third move is go to thrivetimeshow.com and download the podcast. You can check them out. And the fourth is go to Thrive15.com. That's Thrive15.com, the world's best business school, and it's $1 for the first month. Also, get your hair cut in line. Fix that wig. Justin, if they want to fix their wig, where can they learn more?
EITRlounge.com.
EITR Lounge. It's Elephant in the Room. Check it out. $1 for your first haircut. Check out Arthur's big event. And as always, 3, 2, 1, boom!